Uchiha Madara and Hashirama team up for ultimate battlefield domination. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 96. The immortal mode between the pillars shocked the audience. Battle of Susanoo 9 Tails. At the same time as the five-power coalition was crying bitterly. At this time, after seeing such a powerful Suban, he also sighed in his heart. Damn it. Is there really no way for him to confront Suban at this time? You must know that at the beginning, with the art of the wooden man, he was able to confront Suban hard. Although at this time, between the pillars and Suban no longer have your life and death vendetta. But their hearts to defeat each other have not changed at all. The heart between the pillars is also very unconvinced. If there is no way to suppress the spot, then their future relationship does not know what it will become. After that, he had no way to let Ban obediently obey his own orders. If that's the case, then completely explode your full strength. Anyway, after the previous rewards and battles with Suban, the pillars had almost recovered their peak strength. In the rewards of the previous national embargo, the columns also benefit a lot. Let the pillars have a deeper understanding of the energy form of this country's embargo. And it just so happened that his immortal mode required the fusion of the natural energy of the local world with the spiritual energy and the physical energy. If you are familiar with the use of natural energy in this place, you will benefit a lot by using the immortal method between the pillars. So, close your eyes between the pillars. He could only take out all the moves at the bottom of his own pressure box. The next moment, he opened his eyes in awe, and the momentum of his whole body suddenly soared. Hair is all over. Breathless. Countless runes that looked mysterious and magical appeared next to his eyes. He turned on his immortal mode in an instant. The previous Uchiha spot did not learn this pattern. After entering this mode, he was able to use natural energy to create the immortal chakra. Whether it is the attack power defense or the speed, it is far better than the past. It can be said that it is a comprehensive improvement of personal ability. At this time, his ninjutsu power will produce a qualitative increase. Suban and the battle between the pillars, further escalation. At this time, after seeing the pillars enter the immortal mode, the Dragon Kingdom people were all looking at each other. Look at the face between the pillars. How come it has changed so much? Looking at the lines on the face between the pillars, it seems that they have further transformed, and the strength that erupts is stronger. Wow, the columns in this state are still quite handsome. Usually looking at the pillars is still very thick look, seeing him so majestic, is really a little unaccustomed. I don't know if he can beat Suban in such a state. I feel that although his giant has not grown in size, his luster and other aspects seem to be completely different, and his attack power and defense power seem to be much stronger. Finally, I don't have to be crushed and beaten by the giant of Suban anymore. The more the crowd spoke, the more they relished it. Of course, there are also worries about their fighting. Alas, this Suban and the big guy between the pillars are getting more and more outrageous. When exactly are they the limit? No wonder they said that when Akima and Bayuekue were there, it was inconvenient to fight, and there was absolutely no exaggeration. Others are not even qualified to intervene, and only a giant monster like 9 Tails can barely help. However, at this time, it seems that there is no way to defeat Ban. At this time, the audiences of various countries were completely amazed after seeing the battle between the pillars and Suban. The people of various countries who had previously lost to Pillar and Suban did not have much to say. The gap between them and Suban and the pillar was really too big. Such a person is not at all someone they can deal with. Or stop thinking about fighting with such people. Obediently recognize the gap between mortals and gods. Next. Everyone saw that the attack between the pillars began to intensify again. His woodman technique and wood dragon technique have both become much larger. Attack power, defense, and recovery speed are also significantly improved. Once again, they fought with the full-body Susanoo and the 9 Tails. At the same time, around the wooden man and the wooden dragon, more and more trees began to grow vigorously. And it winded towards Suban's side. Although it seems very small, the accumulated power is still very terrifying. As long as it is wrapped around Susanoo's legs, or the tail of the 9 Tails, it will still cause a lot of trouble. Suban saw this, looked solemn, and immediately swung his sword and slashed. Boom! He cut off all the branches and vines underneath. But these branches and vines are still like the spring breeze blowing again, and they continue to attack continuously. Subansuwa also no longer paid attention to these wooden escape techniques, but directly captured the thief first to capture the king. Take the lead in defeating the woodman between the pillars. Phew! Suban wielded the chakra sword, and with the posture of the sky collapsing, he directly slashed at the wooden man technique. The wooden man continued to enter the white blade empty-handed, blocking a blow from the complete body. It doesn't seem to be as strenuous as before. But Suban continued to exert more and more powerful chakras. More and more chakra knife chi slashed at the wooden man one after another. Sonorous. Moreover, the 9 tails also began to condense into an increasingly large-tailed beast, Jade. Blast out towards the wooden man and the wooden dragon. Rumble. Rumble. The wooden dragon struggled to resist the 9-tailed beast Jade, telling him not to affect the battle of the wooden man and the full-body Susanoo. However, under the repeated attacks, the wooden dragon still showed a clear decline. It was only with the powerful regenerative power of the immortal mode that he could barely cope with the attack of the 9 tails. Even if it is blown to pieces, it will soon be regenerated again under the infusion of the wooden chakra between the pillars. But Suban will not let the pillars deal with it calmly. He began to exert more and more pressure, making the beads of sweat on the face between the pillars increase. The resilience between the columns is very strong though. However, in the face of an attack intensity far beyond their own, it is inevitable that they will be stretched out. As long as the resilience between the pillars was not as good as Suban's destructive power, then the immortal body he was proud of could not continue to play a key role. After all, Suban wouldn't give him a chance to fight another big war for 3 days and 3 nights. So in the eyes of the audience, the chakra knife chi in the picture became more and more colorful, and the explosion caused by the tail beast Jade also rose wave after wave. At best, the wooden dragon and the wooden man could barely maintain their defenses, and could not organize an effective attack at all. After all, the wood escape technique between the pillars has never been strong in terms of attack. The real world at this point. The audience also began to carefully analyze the battle between Suban and the pillars. Almost all of them are staring intently at every detail in the picture. After entering this mode, it seems that the pillars just barely have a little resistance, or there is no way to do much damage to the giant of bonsai. The power between the pillars is very strong, but in the face of Suban, whose attack power is so powerful, it still has no effect. If it continues like this, it is no accident that Suban will definitely win the final victory. And these people of the 5 Powers Alliance, they seem to be about to be wiped out, ha 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 ha, I saw them running around, basically they couldn't escape the attack of Suban's people. Just the aftermath of the fight between Suban and the pillars can destroy them, and they are still saying that the fisherman is profitable. Ha ha ha. I've never seen such a brazen person, and the audience of the Europa League, seeing such a wretched player, is also anxious. They did fall into the emotional trough of despair. There is no longer any prayer for how Europa League players can turn over. Hopefully, they can escape this fate by accident, find an opportunity to hide, and let Suban and Zhu Jian forget their existence, which is already very good. The audience was almost oblivious to the fight. This was originally a battle between the 5 Great Powers Alliance and Suban, as well as a battle between the Lighthouse Nation and the Pillar. In this regard, they can only complain in their hearts. Between the Suban and the Pillar, can you respect the other players and respect the national transport embargo? As soon as the fight started, it was so dark that I couldn't think of anything. I'm really addicted to fighting, and I can't help myself. In the midst of the embargo, facing the unstoppable main attacker, Susanoo, as well as the 9 tails that have been eyeing the tiger. The new moves are used again between the bars. Shanfamayashin Gate. With a low cry between the pillars, several mahogany fence-like things suddenly fell from the sky. Smash into Susanoo and 9 tails. Rumble. A powerful sealing force was suddenly released. The 9-tailed head was directly pressed by the Mingshin Gate, and it was impossible to get rid of it for a while. Roar, it's not just physical repression. It also contains the power of an extremely powerful seal. At the beginning, even a tailed beast of this level of 10 tails could be suppressed. Make it lose its strength and ability to act. It is still easy to use against the 9 tails. At this time, the 9 tails could only roar in anger continuously, and wanted to use the tail beast Jade to blow it up. But at this time, the 9 tails were sealed with the flow of chakra, and it was impossible to condense how powerful the tail beast Jade was. The wooden dragon wrapped itself around its body with ease, constantly absorbing the 9-tailed chakra. For a moment, 9 tails quickly fell into trouble. And at this time, the audience of the Dragon Kingdom was amazed. Wow, this red door looks very powerful. It's really incredible that such a big-tailed beast can be suppressed. 9 tails has really become a poor Baba's pet at this time. Is this, as the pillar said, the power of the immortals? If the big guy between the pillars can form a stalemate with Ban, it is also a good thing. At least it won't let them continue to fight, right? Yes, the personality between the pillars is still relatively gentle, and it should not be aggressive. But Ban's personality may be a little hot. It's hard to say, with their personality, they may not fight until both sides are exhausted, and they really won't stop. And in the national embargo. But when Suban saw this Mingshin gate, he still disdained it. Tricks of the trade. I'm not one of those beasts either, rumble. Suban manipulated the complete body Susanoo to burst out the chakra, smashing these Mingshin gates directly. Subsequently, he also swung several swords to smash the Mingshin gate that suppressed the 9 tails. When the pillars saw the situation, they could only shout in their hearts that they were not good. If even the Mingshin men couldn't seal the 9 tails, then there was not much he could do about it. The pillars could only continue to use the Mingshin gate continuously. Let dozens of Mingshin doors smash densely into the complete body Susanoo and the 9 tails. However, Suban was still not afraid at all, 1 knife and 1 Ming God gate. Bang! He easily destroyed them one by one. At the same time, after feeling that you can easily maintain an advantage between the columns, Suban also wanted to show Pillar Ma to see his unique skills. Hasi hot mom. Do you only have a little bit of skill? I'd like you to show you these moves. Muyao, tree realm descending. Boom boom, countless branches and vines began to rise from the ground, sweeping the entire battlefield, competing with the wooden escape technique between the pillars. The interpillar wooden retreat, which was still constantly entangled with Suban, began to be forced to retreat. Suban had been looking forward to it before. Let the pillar see if you learn this trick, the expression between the pillars will be very exciting. Seeing Suban's wooden escape technique, the pillars were indeed shocked and stunned like never before. Madara. How did you get this trick? At this time, between the pillars, the existence of the spot was already extremely doubtful. After all, he had defeated Ban in the Battle of the End Valley before. Therefore, seeing Suban standing in front of him again, participating in the national transport embargo together, and also possessing the art of wooden escape, he was indeed horrified. Where exactly did the spot get such power? Isn't this your own exclusive bloodline limit? It's incredible. Episode 97, Xianfamu Shujin 1000 Hands vs Weisuit Susanoo. At this moment, between the pillars, it was indeed extremely surprising to see Suban use such a powerful wooden escape technique. Facing the shocked and suspicious pillar, Suban only said lightly to this, Mother Hasi, do you remember how I told you once in front of the stone stele of the Uchiha clan? The interaction of the opposite two will produce a lot of things. At that time, you thought it meant that 2 very different forces could work together to achieve true happiness. But I think there are other understandings, but it is the person who gets these 2 powers to get real happiness. At this time, I have already obtained these 2 powers, and I have already surpassed you. Suban's words, throwing sound, after hearing such a remark, although the pillar was still a little confused. But he was also very clear. His close friend Spot must have gained his own strength through some channel. That's why you can use this wooden escape. At that time, the Spot may really have surpassed itself. However, the pillars were still retorting to Suban without hesitation, Madara. I don't agree with your interpretation. I think that if you want to be the strongest person, you still need everyone's help, not just the strength of one person. Suban sneered, that's just the idea of the weak. You say that you believe in the strength of others, but this is not based on your own strong force, so that others have to listen to your ideas? Besides, in a battle like ours, do you think others can intervene? No matter how many mortals there are, they can't compare to any one of us at this time. So do you still think that the power of the crowd is the most reliable? At this time, Suban and Pillar began to clash of life beliefs. This is also the idea dispute between the 2 sides in the original work. And the power represented by the Uchiha Spot is to only believe in their own strength. Now, Suban's words made it impossible for the pillars to refute them for a while. Because Suban was indeed right, when establishing Kiba village, it was still the 2 people between Uchiha Ban and Senju Pillar who played a key role in the establishment of Kiba village. The ordinary forces of other countries really cannot have much impact on the war situation. Otherwise, how could there be a saying that the great Buddha of Susaita and the 2 destroyed the 4 kingdoms? What if the pillar subconsciously wants to refute Suban, but also finds that he is unable to refute it at all? Ban really makes sense. I seem to be a little convinced by him. If I don't have a good tongue, how should I convince him? Of course, stubborn pillars will not easily change their deep-rooted thoughts. After all, these ideas have long been engraved in his heart, and it is difficult to get rid of them. With only a few words from Suban, how could he persuade Zhu Jian to completely change his thinking? And at this time, For more free Fulu novels, https://discord.gg/bpy8hmhp. Everyone in the real world, after hearing the dialogue between Suban and the pillar, was fascinated. And a heated discussion began. It seems that Suban and Zhu Jian really have a past. It can be seen that in the past they must have been people who fought for their ideals and beliefs. And I can also hear that the two big men are full of compassion for the world and want to maintain peace in the world, so they are fighting hard together, but the ideas of the two sides are different. To tell the truth, I really approve of Banny's thoughts. Although I don't know when they were born, with them, can they really realize the unity and peace of the whole world with their own strength? Although it is a bit out of step with the ideas of this era, at least it is a little more reliable than the person between the columns. The pillars are still too naive. That's right. No matter how many people in the Europa League, how much of a threat can they pose? Not at all. Aside from the fear that the battle between the two of them would be dangerous, I couldn't pick out much of a problem. Meanwhile, countless Dragon Kingdom scientists have studied other things in a serious way. They are thinking about a different level, and they are also very emotional about it. Indeed. The power between this pillar and Suban is simply beyond the imagination of all of us. I can't explain all this with scientific principles anymore. Is this the Tao Fa nature, and it is a communication with nature? So you can get the approval of the natural dragon, or even this godlike giant? If they can play a very important role on our planet, it can definitely restore the destroyed ecological environment of the Dragon Kingdom and even the whole Earth. Their ability to do this woody system is faster than the fastest growth hormone, fertilizer, or whatever, which definitely has super high scientific research strategic value. It's even like a life of a high dimension. Like the giants of Suban, they are all things beyond the scope of our knowledge. Indeed, I haven't figured out how their giant mode came about yet, and I don't even have a clue. Scientists already feel how shallow and scarce their knowledge is at this time. As for the Battle of the National Fortunes and other program groups, the host saw the earth-shattering duel between Suban and the pillar, and did not know what to say. Bing Bing looked at the battle between Suban and Zhu with a worried face, and at the same time, he looked at the battle between Suban and the pillar with a respectful face, and said solemnly, "Dear audience, although the duel between our Dragon Kingdom players at this time may cause great danger, we should still keep faith in them. What they are doing at this time may also be their own battle of ideas. On the one hand, we can only respect them, on the other hand, we can only pray that they can reach a reconciliation and jointly realize the ideals and beliefs of both sides." At this point, they really couldn't make a proper evaluation of Suban and Zhu Jian. Perhaps the ideals and beliefs of both sides are really difficult to evaluate who is right and who is wrong. Perhaps at this time, except for fighting, all language will be pale and powerless. In the National Games arena, Pillar Jian also knew that he could not convince Suban, and could only use the way of fighting to subdue Suban. For the sake of their own faith, in order to let their best friends return to their own side again, and listen to their own words, Suban must be defeated completely. Replace language with combat. This is the unique way of communicating that these top minds can use. The two sides stopped talking and continued to fight earth-shatteringly. Suban also folded his hands and began to perform the highest level of wood escape technique he had mastered. Mushimu Long technique. Another wooden dragon came out of nowhere, facing the wooden man and the wooden dragon between the pillars. It quickly hovered over Ninetail's body and began to fight with the full-body Susanoo. In the midst of the battle, the pillars were quickly seen. The wooden dragon summoned by Suban was not much worse than the original creator between the pillars in terms of size and scale. Moreover, what the pillar didn't know was that they were already carrying a trace of the power of the six Daos. This is the key to Suban being able to suppress the pillars at this time. Although his wooden escape technique was not as skilled as that between the pillars, he could still exert his own unique power. Boom. Boom. Suban continued to use the chakra knife to attack the wooden man. Ninetails also continued to condense the tail beast Jade, exploding towards the wooden man and the wooden dragon. When the wooden dragon between the pillars wants to restrict the Ninetails, Suban's wooden dragon will also stand up and get into a fight with it. For a time, Suban continued to gain an advantage, so that the wooden people and wooden dragons between the pillars were gradually in trouble. Faced with the attack of the full-body Susanoo and the Ninetails, Pillar has slowly realized, "I can't go on like this anymore." At this time, the simple immortal mode alone could not deal a fatal blow to Suban. And he couldn't support it at this time. So he must use the strongest skills and fight Suban to the fullest. "Madara. I'm going to use my best skills. You be careful." Suban was also boiling with war, and shouted loudly, "Let the horse come here, hey Sai hot mother." Come as much as I pick up. At this moment, the pillars were also full of war, and suddenly the hands were together again. The hair dances like a fierce wind, showing a heroic posture. Immortal. Wooden. True thousands of hands. More terrifying than before, Shanfamuchi chakra was suddenly exposed. The terrifying coercion and breath instantly enveloped the entire battlefield. The whole earth was surging and the landslides were cracking. Boom. 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 Seeing such a terrible shock, the few Five-Nation Coalition players in the battlefield were shocked. When they saw this earth-shattering situation, they instantly burst into tears. Ordinary people saw such a situation, and they had not yet begun to fight, and it was estimated that they were already frightened and scattered, and they had lost their will to fight. Subsequently, more and more chakra and natural energy filled the whole world. The Five-Nation Coalition felt unable to move their bodies and were completely overwhelmed by the thick fear. More and more branches of vines are also growing, entangled, and converging into a huge Buddha statue. Don't be angry. Awe-inspiring. This was several times larger than the full-body Susanoo and the 9 tails who stood tall in the battlefield. It's not as outgoing as it used to be, and it even looks a little small. Moreover, behind this giant Buddha, there were even hundreds of huge arms. It looks endless, and it is not clear at all. The fragile ground, unable to withstand even such a huge wooden Buddha, began to collapse and disintegrate continuously. The Dragon Kingdom audience screamed again, "I lean on, what is this? There are giants even bigger than before. It's too terrible, the combat power between the pillars has been able to reach such a level, and it seems that the Bani can't stop it. The 9-tailed and the blue giant look so small in front of this wooden Buddha. Is this the so-called mountain higher than a mountain? It seems that the people of the Europa League will certainly not survive. He is completely an AoE attack that sweeps the entire map. Can Suban's big guy use a stronger battle mode next? Otherwise, there will be no way to defeat the pillars." In the picture. And the pillar also shouted, "Madara. I'm coming." At this time, Suban, even in the face of such a terrifying Buddha between the pillars, was still indifferent. "Very good, Hasi Hot Mom. This is the battle I've been waiting for. Then I will do my best." Suban's eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, spinning at breakneck speed again. The complete body Susanoo began to change again. The giant form formed by chakra turned into a pair of armor and began to cover the 9 tails. 9 tails is also under its control, obediently cooperating, so that Suban's chakra and its own huge chakra are constantly fused. His strength at this time had merged with the 9 tails. Way costume Susanoo officially debuted. A large blue fox, clad in strong armor and wearing a mask on its head, was tightly wrapped around its body. Moreover, on his body, there was even a pair of large hands holding the cold chakra knife. At this time, the mighty Susanoo was even larger than the previous full-body Susanoo and the 9-tailed form. And it looks even stronger. This is the peak form that belongs to Suban. This scene made the entire audience, who had already looked dumbfounded, once again fascinated and lost their minds. Sleeper. This is a new form. He really has more than his previous strength. He can go to a higher level. It's really a great idea that this blue giant can turn into armor and wear it on this fox's body. The effect achieved by this is definitely 1 + 1 greater than 2. It can be described as a combination of strong and powerful. The lighthouse audience is even more crazy to see at this time. In the barrage area, they all shouted and scolded, "Isn't this the 9 tails of our lighthouse country's helper? Why can you obediently listen to Suban's words and become a pet at his disposal? It's too much to be able to fit together. Isn't this a powerful tailed beast that we have worked so hard to find? Why don't our players have such treatment? Moreover, it must be controlled by this 9-tailed demon fox, which is really a different life for the same person." At this time, the people of the lighthouse country are very unbalanced in their hearts. Jealousy makes them look bad. Originally, these 9 tails still helped them to light the country. But after seeing Suban and the pillar, they were all like strips of rice. And later, it also became a Tuha-like animal, under the control of Suban. It's very unpleasant to think about. Their only thought at this time was that they hoped that the 9 tails would live to the end and let Suban and the pillar die together. Of course, this is just their imagination. And in the National Games arena, after the two sides entered their strongest mode, they began to shout, "Hashi Hot Mom, Madara." Both sides were driving their own Gundams and began to rush towards their opponents who were watching them. The battle of the century between the spots and the pillars has begun again. Episode 98, The Buddha on Top vs Susanoo Tail Beast Jade. At this time, Suban and the pillar are about to start the battle of fate again. In the process of driving close to the wooden Buddha, Suban also commanded the Nine Tails to continue firing the tail beast Jade. Sigh. The time for the Nine Tails to store energy is far better than in the past, and it is necessary to create a tail beast Jade that is far beyond the past. Moreover, Suban also injected his own complete body Susanoo power into it. Put his chakra knife into this tail of beast Jade. This can be said to be a fusion of two of the strongest forces. Named Susanoo Taidao Tail Beast Jade. Soon, the energy storage was completed, and this enhanced version of the tail beast Jade exploded out. The piercing cracking sound was deafening and made the audience's ears tingle and extremely uncomfortable. Susanoo Taidao and tail beast Jade cut through the void, wrapped in powerful and incomparable power, and quickly approached the wooden Buddha between the pillars. A blue crack crossed the heavenly dome. It even destroys everything along the way in an instant. There is also a huge bottomless gully on the ground. Then suddenly crash into the wooden Buddha between the pillars. Sonorous. Susanoo Taidao and tail beast Jade collided violently with the wooden Buddha, making a terrifying noise. This tail beast Jade began to rotate wildly, and in addition to the huge explosion shockwave, it also contained a powerful cutting force inside. Countless crisscrossing knife cracks suddenly appeared, deeply imprinted on the wooden Buddha, allowing the audience to see it completely. If it weren't for the extremely large body of the wooden Buddha, it is estimated that such a crack could cause it to directly disintegrate. After seeing Suban's attack so terrifying, the pillar was also extremely jealous. The moves used by this spot are superficially the same as the previous battle of the End Valley, but the quality has obviously risen by a notch. As Suban said before, it is the power of Sun Luo Wanxiong. At this time, Suban had already reached the threshold of the 6 paths. Therefore, the attacks used also carried a weak 6-way power. Although it does not seem mature, it has already crossed the realm of man and God. Become a true deity. Under the 6 paths, they are all ants. Although Suban at this time, he was still unable to completely unite Yin and Yang and achieve true Yin and Yang escape. But at least it can already carry a part of the nature of Yin and Yang. It had already caused a qualitative change in all his attacks, no longer ordinary ninjutsu, and no longer an ordinary blood inheritance limit. Relying on this 6-fold power alone, it was already able to greatly improve the quality of Suban's ninjutsu. At this time, the only place between the pillars that could beat Suban was probably the huge chakra. Make up for quality with quantity. For this reason, the pillars also had to use their own ultimate meaning. After Wei Zhaosu Sasuke entered his attack range, he shouted at Suban between the pillars, the Buddha on the top. With a roar, the pillars controlled the entire immortal Dharma Muyuj and thousands of hands of the great Buddha, using his full strength to strike. Behind the big Buddha, hundreds of giant hands of the big Buddha all burst out. Boom. Boom. Boom boom. Earth-shattering attacks emerge in an endless stream. In the real world, this scene made the entire audience stunned. Lying in the trough, between Suban and the pillar at this time, it is really a godlike battle. My eyes are all dazzled, I really can't look at it anymore, and I don't know how the 2 big guys in the center of the battlefield fought. Then again, what happened to the people of these 5 major alliances? Forget it, they don't bother to pay attention to them. This whole map is about to be destroyed, how can the 5-power alliance continue to survive? No wonder it is possible to domesticate this tailed beast above the SS level. At this time, between Suban and the pillar, which fierce beast can compare? Even if it is placed on our blue star, it is a force that destroys the country. With such great mobility, and comparable to the power of nuclear weapons, which country can beat them? As long as you come to the political center of an enemy country, you can absolutely destroy them in an instant. Such a Suban and the pillar must be a strategic weapon that other countries need to get rid of first. I even wonder how much lethality a nuclear weapon can be struck at them. It seems that our country must submit to the Dragon Kingdom. At this time, the most excited is naturally the audience of the Dragon Kingdom. The more the Dragon Nation people talked on the online platform, the more excited they became. Even I was moved to tears by this spectacular scene. It seems that our country's fairy tales are true. Under the ancestor of the Yuan baby, everything is an ant, woohoo! Cultivating immortals can save the Dragon Kingdom, what the mythological novels describe as true. Suban and Zhu Jian definitely possess the long-lost Xiao Immortal and Xian Fantasy secret books. Suban and the big guy between the pillars, YYDS. I hope that our future cultivators can barely use their 1% strength, and just 1% of their strength. I think it is quite exaggerated, destroying a house is easy. The pattern is small, they are now giants of several hundred meters, 1% of the strength, can already sweep through the battlefield of ordinary people. 0.1% of the time, the fight is not instigated. I just beg the two of them to be tenacious enough not to die because of the battle. Indeed, the only thing that the Dragon Kingdom people were worried about at this time was the safety of Suban and the pillar. Next. In the stunned eyes of countless people, the entire battlefield was completely shrouded in smoke and brilliant light. Under the bombardment of countless giant hands of the Wood Buddha, the armor of the mighty Susanoo soon began to shatter. When Suban saw such an attack, he did not have much fear, but his eyes were hot and his war spirit shot straight into the clouds. He also began to make the strongest wave with the column. Susanoo Yasaka no Gokuta. Nine-tailed beast Jade. The two forces of Suban and Nine Tails fused together again and began to erupt into more powerful energy balls of light. Moreover, it was also injected with a trace of the power of the six paths, although weak, but impossible to ignore. These energy balls of light began to collide with the giant hands of the wooden Buddha. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. Boom boom boom. Neither side will let anyone use their full body strength to the extreme. It's like a legendary myth. The giant hands of the wooden Buddha on the screen look like they cover the sky and the sun, and they are boundless. The screen full of Yasaka no Go Jade and Tail Beast Jade is like a brilliant and colorful meteor group, colliding with the giant hand of the wooden Buddha. At this time, Suban and the pillar are basically doing their best. Only the ultimate speed and power collision is pursued. And under the violent collision, countless people have to cover their ears and load headphones to silence the sound in order to continue watching. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Bang bang bang. Even the elderly who don't have much hearing can clearly hear these explosions. It's as if it's happening right next to you. Countless people watched the battle between Suban and the pillar in shock, while still paying attention to the movement outside his house. Use this to find out if there was an explosion around you. It can be seen from this that the battle between Suban and the pillar is so earth-shaking. It's even more shocking than Hollywood blockbusters. It didn't take long. The battle between Suban and the pillar gradually intensified. The next battle to win depends on their chakra realm and number. Hundreds of giant hands of the wooden Buddha can indeed be said to be a number of crushing spots. However, Suban's mighty outfit Susanoo also condensed more and more enhanced versions of the Tail Beast Jade characters. Use the quality to counter the powerful offensive of the giant hand of the wooden Buddha. Not only can it compete with the pillars, but there are even faint signs of overtaking. And in this extremely noisy battlefield, the shouts of both sides can even mask the deafening explosions. Hassi hot mom. Madara. Hassi hot mom. Madara. In the map at this moment, the sound shocks the world, and the heavens and the earth change color. Episode 99. The Battle of Fate of the Pillar of Spotted Pillars is decided. Dragon Country Arena wins. And the 5 major alliance forces below, seeing this situation, are already completely desperate, which is no longer a question of whether they can intervene in the battle, but whether they can escape the problem of being alive, or even keeping the whole corpse. Suban and these godlike figures between the pillars, any light wave against each other, can completely crush their flesh and mortal body into pieces. How else does this make them play? They all did their best to dodge the battle between Suban and the pillar. People with the steel suit and Thor's hammer, no matter how fast they are still powerless in the face of the energy wave impact of the storm. So after that, they were hit one after another and killed on the spot. At this time, the 5-Nation Alliance was also completely sent into the soul space of the National Games Arena, completely destroyed by Suban and Pillar. Of course, at this time, few people on the sidelines were concerned about the survival of the 5-Power Alliance. Instead, he watched intently at the battle between Suban and the Pillar. After the initial collision, Suban's offensive began to become more and more fierce. It has been able to overwhelm a larger number of wooden Buddha giant hands, showing a trend of counterattack. More and more, Yasaka no Goku Jade and Tail Beast Jade crashed on top of the wooden Buddha. The body of the wooden Buddha also began to be broken. Thousands of giant hands also began to slowly decrease. But the pillar still gritted its teeth and continued to exhaust its full body strength, and the battle with Suban rumbled. Sonorous. The confrontation between the two sides has gradually entered the second half of the stage. A continuous roar resounded through the clouds. Under the action of Suban and the pillars, the terrain of the entire map has been completely changed many times. The terrain, which was originally a glacier, was completely destroyed by Suban long ago. And after that, under the action of Suban and the wooden escape technique of the two people between the pillars, it became a forest. Subsequently, the forest was again gradually destroyed. It can be called a mythical battle that destroys the world and destroys the earth. And in the process of collision at this time, double 10,000 also let the ground continue to sink. A valley-like terrain is also gradually forming. Countless viewers have been stunned and shocked. The number of giant hands of the wooden Buddha is getting smaller and smaller, and the body is becoming more and more mutilated, even to the point of crumbling. And Suban's offensive also slowly weakened. The appearance of Wei Zhao Susanoo has been broken a lot, but it can still support it for a long time. Although in the past, the true thousands of hands between the pillars could also defeat the mighty Susanoo. But at this time, it is also obvious that it is going to be a failure. Although he still felt that there were still many chakras in his body. But under Suban's huge attack, it was not his turn to use up all these chakras. In the end, in the shocked eyes of countless viewers. Thundered. 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 The giant hand of the wooden Buddha between the pillars finally disappeared completely. And his giant Buddha was also torn apart under the attack of Yasaka's Goku Jade and Tail Beast Jade, completely shattered into pieces. The pillars also fell directly to the ground, losing the Gundam, looking up at the mighty Susanoo who covered the sky. It seems so small. The fateful battle between Suban and the pillar, at this time, finally won and lost. Winner, Suban. The contrast between the original Uchiha spot and the thousand-hand pillar has finally changed completely. The thousand-hands pillar, which had always been able to suppress his best friend, finally lost to his best friend. In the face of this situation, the pillars did not know what to say. He could only helplessly choose to concede defeat. Pillar Jian breathlessly said to Suban, Madara. This time, after all, you won the victory. At this time, there was not much frustration between the columns. After all, this battle is only divided into victory and defeat, and it is not decided whether to live or die. Defeated by Suban, this power is far superior to the past Wei Zhao Susanoo, he is not wronged. Suban was also exhausted after a fierce battle at this time, and his state was only slightly better than that between the pillars. Hassie hot mom, it seems that after such a long time, you still can't catch up with me. From now on, you will obey my commands. Pillar Jian smiled bitterly, and could only breathe, well, Madara, I listen to you. By the way, then again, what did we want to do before? Suban and Zhu Jian only remembered at this time that they still had to compete for the victory of this national sports arena. Suban looked around again to see the traces of the 5 major alliances. However, at this time, the environment has completely changed. It's as if the world has changed. Suban also couldn't feel the breath of the 5 major alliance forces. Suban held his chin with his hand, but fell into contemplation. So what should he do next? Suban temporarily lifted the Wei costume Susanoo, allowing 9 tails to return to the beast state. However, Suban did not lift his control of the 9 tails. It is not a bad thing to have such a cute pet as a follower. As the strongest of so many tailed beasts, its strength is still very commendable. At this time, between the pillars, he also staggered to the front of Suban. Although there may still be a little reluctance, the pillars have also begun to slowly accept the fact that they have failed. After all, Pillar Jian was not originally a battle maniac, nor did he have much attachment to defeating Suban. Although Suban's belief, he still has a lot not very recognized. But as long as his close friends don't hurt their relatives and friends, and don't cause damage to their own national interests, the pillar is already very satisfied. As long as you follow Suban's side and don't let Suban do anything excessive, it is enough. I hope that the two sides will only have a little difference in concept, and will not continue to be hostile on major issues of right and wrong. After thinking about it in his heart, the pillar immediately raised his spirits. He began to laugh wistfully. Well, Madara, at least in this national embargo, there is still no need for us to fight a fish to break the net, this battle, as if you were temporarily ahead. But I won't give up, maybe in the next battle, I will soon overtake you. I think in this national sports arena, I will become stronger and stronger. When the time comes, don't let me beat you up and run away, haha. Facing the pillar of the conversation, Suban just smiled faintly, then your wish may be doomed to failure. Meanwhile, at the end of the earth-shattering battle between Suban and Zhu Jian and others, where the contestants and spectators were, a voice appeared next to their ears. In the first match, Dragon Country Suban played against John Cow Country, Gall Chicken Country, Germanic. Wait for the contestants in the process, get success. Dragon Kingdom player Suban gets a 50% hitch bonus. Get a 50% health bonus. Get. In addition, the Dragon Kingdom will receive the following resources: 1000 S-Class Hot Springs, S-Class Forests, S-Class Mineral Resources. Dragon Kingdom people can also get Suban's National Fortune Power Feedback, increase pupil power by 30 points, vitality by 30 points. The dense rewards soon made the Dragon Kingdom people overjoyed. Haha, our Dragon Kingdom players are really powerful. Thanks to Suban and the big guy between the pillars, ah. The feeling of infusion of the power of national fortune is absolutely incomprehensible to you foreigners. It's really cool, haha, many of them may only be able to get the pain of the loss of the power of national fortune. You foreigners who still want to challenge our players in order to rob us of our national fortunes is really ridiculous and naive. This is not enough to eat chicken, but to eat rice. It really makes me laugh for 100 years. While the Dragon Nation people were laughing and laughing, the voice of the National Fortune Arena continued to come over. Players from all over the world who challenged the Dragon Nation players Suban, Alessandro, Jones, Lewis. The failure of each person will bring 5% of the loss of national fortune to the country. Please take this as a warning. After learning such information, the Dragon Nation people couldn't stop laughing. Not only did it not receive any rewards, but even received such a severe punishment, the national fortune did not know how much it had decayed. Even if you don't need our country to impose sanctions, you are already a weak country that has become a nail in the coffin, and it is estimated that the small countries next to you can surpass you. The countries next to you all need to thank my Dragon Kingdom, otherwise, you will still have to be oppressed by these countries. Yes, in your hearts, Suban and Pillar Between should be the gods of your country. Thank you to the players of our country for being able to pick up the bargain. The Dragon Kingdom people felt very proud at this time. All this thanks to the efforts of Pillar and Suban. Even to some extent, they didn't seem to have done anything, casually crushing these foreign players. There wasn't even much risk, it wasn't as good as Suban and the battle between pillars themselves. Saying it really makes foreigners very distressed. And at this time, Suban is more concerned with a hidden reward. That's your own Uchiha spot template. Suban's Uchiha band's level of play was unexpectedly increased to 80% by 75% after the battle between the pillars. Such a terrifying improvement has made his strength thousands of miles ahead again. The use of the power of the 6 paths has also entered a deeper and more subtle realm. This will be a qualitative improvement. Suban was more and more looking forward to the next battle of the national embargo. These Europa League and Lighthouse Nation players on Earth are no longer in his sights. Is there still a need for this national sports arena? Should more powerful maps be opened up? I don't know if there are more powerful opponents in the national transport embargo, waiting for them to conquer. When did the battlefield of all ethnic groups mentioned in the previous national transport embargo officially come? If there was no truly powerful race in the Forbidden Land, Suban would not believe that he was desperate to meet a more powerful opponent and let himself show his skills. And next, the pillars also received their own corresponding rewards, similar to Suban. In the second game, the Dragon Kingdom players played against the Lighthouse Country players between the pillars, and achieved the final success. Dragon Kingdom players get a 30% spirit bonus between the pillars. In addition, the Dragon Kingdom will receive the following resources: 1000 S-Class Wetlands, S-Class Farmland. Dragon people can also get feedback on the power of national fortune between the pillars, increasing the vitality by 30 points. It's all water, minerals, and forests. At the same time, the increase in physical attributes in all aspects has significantly improved the quality of the entire Dragon Kingdom people. At the same time, a little bit special is that the columns receive a very special reward. In addition, congratulations to the Dragon Kingdom player Pillar for successfully obtaining a trace of 6 ways of strength. After hearing this, the pillars could not help but be slightly surprised. Is it the power of the 6 immortals? If this power could be smoothly exerted, how terrifying it would be for a golden light to fall from the sky and suddenly merge into the body between the pillars. A feeling of comfort and pleasure began to sweep through his heart, making him feel comfortable. After merging into the 6-fold power, the pillars immediately realized something. It turns out that this is the power of the 6 immortals. Sure enough, it was much more powerful than the power mastered by ordinary ninjas. Although the pillars have a very large chakra, the quality of ninjutsu does not have a significant advantage over Uchiha Ban. It wasn't until he obtained the power of the legendary 6 Dao that he officially realized the new realm, and it seemed that this was the power that Suban possessed. In the previous battle, Pillar Jian had already felt this force of the 6 Daos. No wonder Suban could be so strong. As long as you can completely grasp the power of the 6 realms this time, then after that, you will cross a new realm. The future can be expected. Thinking of this, the pillar was very excited and put his arm around the shoulder between the pillars. Spots. Just wait, I'll be able to surpass you soon. You must know the past you, but you have always been beaten by me. I believe that after I completely absorb this power, I will definitely surpass you. At this time, between the pillars, the future battle is also looking forward to, Suban just said lightly. Okay, I'm waiting for you. Being able to fight stronger people is also a great joy in my life. But don't you think I'm just a person who stands still? Also, between the columns. Don't get too close to me. My shoulders are going to be crushed by you. Seeing that he was getting closer and closer to his pillar, Suban once again began to get used to it. This scene is naturally a smile on the faces of countless Dragon Kingdom audiences. Ha ha ha, it seems that they are indeed good brothers who love and kill each other. It seems that although the pillars were able to suppress Suban in the past, they are definitely lagging behind Suban now. Pillar Jian must be very unconvinced in his heart. I hope he can become stronger, that way, it can also bring a stronger psychological protection. At that time, foreigners will definitely be more troublesome, and they will always be able to only look up to our Dragon Country players. Meantime, on the other side, the Cherry Blossom contestants, in the candidate area of the National Games Arena, are all confused. After hearing about the fiasco of the 5 Great Alliances and the Lighthouse Nation, as well as the generous rewards between Suban and the Pillars, once again, they put away their arrogance. Can we really challenge the Dragon Nation players? Forget it, let's not do such a stupid thing. In the future, even if you encounter the Dragon Kingdom people, how far will you run? The contestants of Sakura Nation are extremely frustrated. Although they, as players in the National Games Arena, can only wait in the waiting area and cannot see the performance between Suban and the Pillar, they also know how powerful Suban and the Pillar are. But at this moment, a mysterious voice sounded, "You continue to challenge Suban and Zhu Jian according to the original plan. You can definitely win." After hearing this voice, the Sakura people were puzzled. This voice is the heroic spirit of a large Barrelwood clan from the Forbidden Land of the National Transport, accidentally encountered by Sakura people. After that, he was possessed by their side. Hearing this, they all spoke telepathically to this voice. Ah. Big Barrelwood Lord. After we came to the National Games Arena, we did become a lot stronger, but other countries are not worse than us, right? The entire Europa League united with the Lighthouse Nation players, even with the power of the 9 tails, there is no way to defeat Suban and Pillar. Then we will only play as cannon fodder, and we will only let the Dragon Kingdom players get rewards. Yes. Big Barrelwood Lord. It's not worth the loss, but the mysterious voice continued to speak, seriously. Trust me. I'm from the Otogi clan. The strength of our great Barrelwood clan is definitely not comparable to that of mortals. This Suban and the Pillar have already touched the point of God. So it's normal for someone to be able to beat the Lighthouse Nation and the Europa Alliance. But I'm already a god. Not their half-hanging god. With my help, you will definitely be able to defeat this Pillar and Suban. I'm going to do that next. This person, who claims to be a member of the Atsuki clan, begins to challenge Suban and Pillar Uzumaki under the guise of the hands of the Sakura Kunijin. Episode 100, The Conspiracy of the Great Barrelwood. Sakura Kingdom challenges Suban and Pillar. After hearing the assurances of this large Barrelwood family, the Sakura people could only agree, and they very much agreed with this. They were all very convinced of the people of this big Barrelwood clan. It turned out that the Sakura people had come to 1 or more ruins before the National Luck Arena. In this relic, they ostensibly found an A-class treasure chest that didn't seem to be anything special. Compared with the record of Dragon Kingdom players and others who kill A-class beasts in seconds, or even S-level beasts, it is not worth mentioning at all. But in fact, this A-class treasure chest they obtained had a heroic spirit of the Great Barrelwood clan living in it. It's similar to the 9-tailed demon fox that the Lighthouse Nation encountered before. The Otogi quickly began to possess the Sakura people and kept giving orders to them. And people watching the live broadcast from the outside world can't see everything that is hidden. He claims to be a higher race than the Blue Star. It's easy to override the Blue Star people. After coming to the National Games Arena, this mysterious hero has also been helping the Sakura people become stronger. In addition to obtaining the blessing of their own Cherry Blossom country, they also gained the mysterious power of the National Fortune Embargo. With the help of the Great Barrelwood clan, their strength has indeed grown by leaps and bounds, gaining the legendary immortal power, the power of the 6 paths. Therefore, Sakura Kunihito did believe in this man. And willing to bow down to him. Hopefully, with the help of the Otogi clan, it will be the moment when the Sakura people defeat the Dragon Nation. When the time comes, they will let the Dragon Kingdom people try what it is called the taste of failure. They were the people of the Great Sakura Empire, and they were absolutely able to defeat these abominable Dragon Kingdom people. With this in mind, they immediately prepared to warm up, about to challenge Suban and the Pillar. And the plot of these Cherry Blossom players, the outside world is still ignorant of this. And on the network platform at this time, the Dragon Nation is basically at the top of the chain of contempt. Have a lofty status. At this time, the unquestionable strength of the Dragon Kingdom players has also made countless people willing to become the licking dogs of the Dragon Kingdom. There is a future with the Dragon Kingdom. The Dragon Nation will definitely be the superpower of the future Blue Star. Only at this time can we win countless benefits by wagging our tails and taking pity on the Dragon Kingdom. What is dignity? Is it more important than profit? Countless countries that have seen the wind and the rudder have abandoned the diplomacy of the Europa Alliance and the Lighthouse Nation and directly surrendered to the Dragon Nation. The high level of countless countries have stood up to the Dragon Kingdom and desperately licked their knees. Seeing these news, the people of Longwa are extremely proud. Our Dragon Kingdom, what is the tribute of the 100 kingdoms that has continued in the past at this time? Look at which one is not long-eyed and dares to challenge our Dragon Country players. If you dare to continue to challenge, I can only say that he has a brain problem. Now that the resources obtained by our country are estimated to be able to make people all over the world live a good life, you still want to think about how to join my country, ha ha ha. Those two devils we will not welcome, and do not have the slightest ability, do not want to join the nationality of our country. At least you have to start with a PhD from a prestigious university, or someone who has made outstanding contributions in other fields, but also through the Dragon Chinese level 8, know and love the culture of our country. Ha ha ha. In addition, the Dragon Kingdom people are also overjoyed by the rewards of the Dragon Kingdom. They can really be said to be like dragons. Both physically and mentally, it is possible to easily defeat other foreigners. The average height of the entire nation has reached 2 meters, and everyone can easily get strong muscles. At a glance, it looks like you're in a gym or an Olympic stadium. Anyway, it's an all-round increase in body attributes. Make them feel as if they have become a new species. At this time, in the territory of the Dragon Kingdom, the most uncomfortable people were those foreigners. The embargo does not recognize them at all. They were not given the corresponding national luck rewards. Either because they did not have the nationality of the Dragon Kingdom, or they were dragon people who had no heart for the Dragon Kingdom, or they were spies from foreign countries. They are all very upset and are still trying to cultivate their love for the Dragon Country. But it was already too late. No matter what they did, there was no way to get the reward of the Dragon Kingdom's national fortune. Let them be said to be left and right, not people. Thinking of the foreign countries they used to yearn for, they are all annoyed. Or the Dragon Kingdom that they once hated was the destiny of heaven. Moreover, such a weak physical quality also made them incompatible with the real Dragon Kingdom personality. At this moment, in front of the Dragon Nation, they looked like clowns and dwarfs. In particular, some people who have been singing the praises of the Dragon Nation have become the object of contempt of the people and have been pointed out by the Gonfu. For this reason, they are all remorseful in the beginning. In the network platform of Dragon Country, a certain second devil, who holds a fan and has a pretentious style, has been desperately denigrating the Dragon Kingdom. As soon as Dragon Kingdom showed something wrong, he immediately tried to demean the Dragon Kingdom players and try to hit the confidence of Dragon Country people. But he had been punched in the face again, and even in the end, he was already magical. No matter when, he had to step on the Dragon Kingdom, but he was quickly punched in the face by the Dragon Kingdom. Cycle. Perseverance. Countless people have taken this public knowledge as a joke. I was very impressed that he could continue to broadcast live, and it could even be said that he was used as a joke after tea. I will no longer be angry at what he says. How much anger? It just treats him like a fun seeker. In the previous time, after seeing the two players of the Dragon Kingdom defeating the Europa League and the Lighthouse Nation, this public knowledge was even more angry. All directly vomited blood on the spot. This scene has also become the material for countless netizens to edit ghost animal videos, and countless memes have been widely circulated. Let everyone also see what kind of fate these two devils will end up with. Even more annoying than the foreigners who targeted the Dragon Nation were these two devils. Therefore, seeing that these two devils were so unlucky, countless Dragon Kingdom people were clapping their hands and applauding. And later, it had to be his assistant, who said a few words next to his ear, saying that the Dragon Kingdom players had begun to fight infighting again. He barely woke up from his coma. But seeing the godlike performance between Suban and the pillars. After seeing the complete body Susanoo, the nine-tailed beast Jade, the mighty Susanoo, and the thousands of hands of the immortal wood, he said, without exaggeration, that he was scared to the point of this moment. This public knowledge is finally completely instigated. He really regarded Suban and the pillar as a godlike being. Oh, my God. If such a terrible person as Suban and Zhu Jian really possessed the power of God, wouldn't it be possible to kill himself with one thought? Being embarrassed with such a person is really the most wrong thing I have ever done in my life. The Black Su spot and the pillar are not only very stupid, but also completely fatal. So he could only turn on the live broadcast, and in front of the public, he quickly knelt down to Suban and the pillar. Respectfully expressing himself, he did not dare to slander such a character as them in the future, and finally suffered the scourge of ghost animal videos and memes again. It's a classic laughingstock. At the time when the Dragon Nation people are in a frenzy, a voice suddenly broke the carnival of the Dragon Nation. National Games Arena tips: Sakura Kingdom players Yamamoto Ro, Hidoro Toihara, Naoki Kamita, and Chio Miyamoto challenged Rikoku Subane and Hamama to challenge Rikoku Subane and Hamama. The third challenge of the National Games Arena is about to begin. Dragon Kingdom? Sakura Kunihito? People all over the world? At this moment, the news that the Sakura people are going to challenge the Dragon Country people, and one stone stirs up the dry waves. Meantime, in the National Games Arena, Suban and Zhu Jian were very surprised after hearing this news. Unexpectedly, they all defeated these Europa League people, as well as the Lighthouse people. How dare anyone challenge themselves? What an accident. I don't know where this man's confidence comes from. So at this time, Suban only sighed at their challenge. Pillars, the next battle will be left to you. I don't bother to pay attention to them. Face these clowns. I didn't even have the heart to look at them. It is estimated to be stronger. Suban's words are routinely pierced. Although Suban's attitude made Zhu Jian a little dissatisfied, he did not take it seriously. Okay. Anyway, these cherry blossom people should be some small rookies, just play casually. Then again, Ban, how did you learn my wood escape technique? Tell me soon. In this regard, Suban said indifferently, I'm sorry, there is no comment. Between the pillars, you still think slowly. When the pillars heard this, they felt very disappointed. Well, Spot. Teach me your fire escape, I want to learn it too. You can't just learn my skills, and I can't learn your skills. And your Susanoo, can you teach me? Suban, who has double power, is indeed curious and unforgettable in his heart. Therefore, I also want to learn Suban's exclusive ability 1.